Welcome back to the next Java video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at getting user input. And when you're getting user input and using it in Java, there are some things that you have to do that's a little different than some other programming languages. So last time we had Hello Computer Science. This time we're going to do something very similar, but we're going to have it output their name and grade level. So let's go ahead and create a new project, and we'll just call it Hello Updated. That sounds good. And then we can go ahead and close this other one. So then remember, every program that you are running needs a class, and we'll just call this one Hello User. We're going to hit OK. We have it. We're going to double click and we're going to jump in. Now it's going to give us all this, so we need to go ahead and delete all this again. And that's real easy. Make sure you leave this open curly bracket, because that is the class, and that's what we're left with. Now, inside of our class, don't forget, we need our main method. Now, before we do that, I said there's something different we need to do when we're getting or dealing with user input in Java. And what we have to do is we have to import a specific class. So we're going to type in import, and this goes outside of our class header. And here's what we do. We do java.util, which stands for utility. And then we're going to import the scanner class. And that has to be a capital S. We put our semicolon and we're good to go. So now that what we have just done is imported the scanner class, which will allow us to get what the user has typed in and store that somewhere. So let's go ahead and create our main method. So remember, that's going to be public static void because it's not returning anything. We open our parentheses, string args, we put our brackets, close our parentheses, open our curly bracket, and we're good to go. Now, the more and more you type your main method header, the easier it's going to become. So when we go through this and we type things we've already typed, we're actually reinforcing how to create those things without having to look back. Okay, so now that we have our main method header, we can start coding. So what we're going to do is we're going to need to create an object because we're working with a string, which is a non-primitive or a reference data type, which we'll talk about. So we're going to do scanner, and I'm going to do this object, and I'm going to abbreviate that obj. And then I'm going to do new scanner in system dot in, and then I'm going to put my parentheses, close my parentheses, and put my semicolon. Now what this does is we're taking input inside the system. That's all it means. It says, hey, we're going to have a scanner, we're going to be scanning an object, and we're going to be creating something new. Every time that we take input, it's going to be something new. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a data type as a string, and this is going to go in with our next video, which is you don't have to watch, but it'll define the difference between non-primitive data types and primitive data types. And when you're looking at those and you want to get a full understanding of a programming language, it's really good to understand the difference between these, especially as we move on. So I'm just going to put, let's see, so I'll put my last name, Herb, put my semicolon. So this is a string. This is not an object. This is a string. We want to create an object, and we'll do that by asking the user what their name is. But the first thing I want to do is I want to print on a line. I'm going to say, hello, my name is... And there's a reason we're doing this, and this is so you can learn how to concatenate strings or put strings and custom text together. I simply use my plus sign, and then I put my variable, which was my name. I put my semicolon. So what we just did was we learned how to create a data type as of a string. We learned how to assign a value to it, and we're learning also at the same time how to concatenate strings by using the plus sign. So we have some custom text here, hello, my name is, and I just could put my last name. The reason I did not just put Herb is because I wanted to teach you, okay, how do we create a data type of a string? how do we concatenate those strings together? So rather than having a separate video on something that takes 30 seconds, I just decided to put this in. All right, so now we need to ask them, what is their name? So we're going to do, now this print line moves the cursor to the next line, so it'll put this next thing on the next line. What is your name? We want to ask them what that is, and then don't forget the semicolon. A lot of people forget that, and that's going to have an error. Now, here's what we need to do now. We need to create a string that's going to hold their name, and we have to use the scanner. So here's how this works. So we're going to do string. That is our data type, and I'm simply going to call it user name because a user is going to give me their name, and we're going to do this object, and then we're going to put dot. Now, remember, we talked about this. The whole reason of using BlueJ is it doesn't come with autocomplete, which really forces us to understand what we're doing. So we're going to do next line. Then you have to open your parentheses, put a semicolon, and there you go. So what's going to happen is when we ask them, what is your name? They're going to type something in. And then what it's going to do is it's going to store it inside user name. Now, it's not actually being stored in user name. It's being stored somewhere on a what we call the logical address of the RAM, but we're going to cover that in part 2 of this video to understand the difference between reference variables or non-primitive data types and primitive data types. Now, for the primitive data type, we're going to ask them what grade they are in. So we're going to do print line. What grade are you in? And then we're going to, don't forget, you got to put your semicolon. And then what we're going to do is this time, because we're going to have them enter a number, so that's int. That is a primitive data type, and we're going to call it grade level. Now notice int, this is lowercase. S for string is uppercase. And remember, it is case sensitive. Int means we're working with whole numbers. There are integer classes, which we'll get to later on. Now, to store a variable, you don't use, or to store an integer, you don't use next line. If you do that, you're going to get an error. So what you use is next int. And there we go. There we go. That is how you do that. And then what we're simply going to do is we're going to output it. We're going to output it. So system.out.println, we're going to say hello, and then we're going to put their username, and then we need another plus sign, and we want to seem excited for them, so we'll put an exclamation mark. We'll say, you know, I hope you are enjoying. And then we'll put another. Now, in a minute, you're going to see it go off the screen, and we'll show you what you can do to go to the next line. We say, we hope we're enjoying. We called it grade level. Now, that's going on the next, that's going off the screen. So here's what we're going to do. All we're going to do is find out, we want to start from here. I can go to the next line, and it's easy to go, so I don't have to scroll back and forth. We hope you're enjoying, say, 11th grade. Now, they're not going to type in the TH. We are. And we can simply do that by typing in the TH grade. And then we're going to put our semicolon, and then that's it. We are done. So what we want to do is we want to compile this, make sure there are no errors. Perfect. Class compiled, no syntax errors. We see that we have, we don't have all the slashes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run this. So it says, hello, my name is Herb. What is your name? And we'll say, hey, our name is Johnny. Now in blue is what the user has inputted. So when you're looking at this and you say, oh, wow, that says Johnny, we don't have code to do that. That is what we have typed in, showing you what the user has typed in. What grade are you in? We'll say we're in 12th grade. And it says, hello, Johnny, I hope you're enjoying 12th grade. So in this video, what we did was we took a look at how do we create, or how do we import the class or the class scanner, which is a utility in Java, and we use that with the import statement. We went over how to create a main method again. We learned how we created a string, which is a non-primitive data type. We also talked about how we use a primitive or create a primitive data type, and then how we can concatenate strings together. So a lot going on in this video. In the next video, we're going to be taking a look at the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types, which also makes a direct reference to both physical addresses and logical addresses on the computer. So we'll be taking a look at that. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and a like, and join us in the next video.